What's going on, my friends, and welcome back to the channel. It has been a while, and I have to apologize for that. I've had an extremely busy winter. However, here we are, the beginning of spring, and I have to get some cotton in the ground. Now, I'm dealing with some rain. I don't have much of an option. March is my opportunity to get the cotton planted, and I'd rather plant in the rain and hope it doesn't get too muddy than miss my window. So, as I'm doing some planting, I'm going to reflect on what I've done this winter and catch you all up to speed with how things are coming along at the farm. So if I remember right, last we left off, my parting words in that video was, let's not wait so long to do this again next time. Well, so much for that. It was just an extremely busy winter, and I just didn't find myself with a whole lot of time to edit and publish videos to keep you all up to speed with what's going on here on the farm. Anyhow, I did accomplish a lot. So I spent my days taking care of just general stuff around the farm. Getting eggs sold, getting wool taken to the spinnery and sold, and of course getting all my cotton taken there as well. It has been processed. I have fabric waiting at the spinnery for me to pick up and sell whenever, prices are right. So the spinneries agreed to hang on to it for a little while for me. I can't leave it there forever, of course, but they'll hang on to it for a little while. So it's in good hands, it's safe, and we've gotten a lot of wool and a lot of cotton processed into fabric. So I'm excited for that because, more money's always a good thing. I'm just being strategic about when I'm going to sell it, trying to make the most I can. Also, I broke down and got some help around here. I wanted to get all of the fall tillage done. I wanted to make sure that when spring hit, I was ready to rock and roll like I'm doing here today. I wasn't going to be able to do that all myself. So, in the town nearest to my property here, there's a mid-sized family farm operation. And I made a call to Mr. Johnson, the owner of that farm, and just honestly kind of introduced myself and told him, hey, I've got quite a bit of property. I'm a fairly new farmer. I'm finding myself in need of some assistance. Do you have any help that you'd be willing to lend out or contract out? And, his answer was yes. To make a long story short, he had kind of a slower than usual year and wanted to keep all his people on staff. So he was happy to send me a few people from time to time. So he sent me Pedro, who helped me get a lot of the plowing done, or the fall tillage done. And he also sent me Ashley, who's his daughter. And he has another daughter, Barbara. Interesting deal there. I got to watch myself, make sure I don't get into trouble here with Mr. Johnson. Sort of a farmer's daughter thing going on here.
Farmer Johnson's daughters just pulled up in a Jeep. Man, he knows how to grow them, if you know what I mean.
Anyways, they were all good help, and I kept it professional, in spite of my urges to... Alright, I'm just going to come out and say it. Took a lot not to hit on Ashley. She's a looker. Anyways, kept it professional, and was happy to have their help, and boy did I need it. They helped me get all the tillage done. They helped me get some of the field cultivating done, operating the rock pickers. And they even helped get the liming done. I've come to the conclusion that I'm only one man, And I've got a little bit of money in my pocket now. And in order to make money, you've got to spend money. So the much needed helping hands really made life easier and less stressful on me. And more importantly, I just don't want to burn myself out on this. I was so excited to do it in the first year because it's been my lifelong dream. And that's great and all, but I didn't want to keep working at that pace, burning candle at both ends and eventually burn myself out on this. I don't want a dream to become a nightmare, if you know what I mean. So their help was great. Got a lot ready to go around the farm. And the strategy for this year is going to be focused solely on cotton and sorghum. So this was one of my lessons learned from last year. I got overzealous. I got excited. I'm a noob. And I just went to town. All these different crops. If I would have stopped for just 1 second to think it through, I would have realized that's not the best idea. Especially when I don't own all my own equipment yet. That is multiple different header types. Oh, I'm empty here. I gotta go get filled up on seed. Let me go get filled up on seed and we'll get back to this.
5 minutes later.
Alright, so where was I? Oh yeah, I was talking about the strategy for this coming year. Cotton and sorghum. That's it. Like I said, if I would have thought for 1 second about what I was doing, I would have realized not owning my own equipment, it's not a great idea to have to lease so many different harvester and header types. So I'm still going to have to lease 2 different harvesters. But at least I don't have to get a whole bunch of different header types. I can just get one header for the sorghum and that's it. And in fact, I'm going to kind of hitch my wagon to this cotton thing. So one of my, well, eventually, I hesitate to say one of my next few purchases because I've got a lot of things I need to buy here. And we'll get into that a little more later. But one of my hopeful purchases at some point in the nearer future be a cotton harvester. By default, I think I'm going to consider myself a cotton farmer. So that's one of the first things I want to get. Then at that point, I can rotate other fields on a year-by-year basis. Maybe 1 year I'll do sorghum, maybe 1 year I'll do wheat, barley, something like that. Who knows? But by and large, we're cotton farmers here. That's the plan. All right, so before I went on that rant, I was basically saying I wanted to get everything done this winter. I wanted to have everything ready to go for the spring so that I could hit the ground running and execute that plan of cotton and sorghum. Well, here we are in March, and March is the time to get the cotton planted, and that brings us to today. A few other things that I did throughout the winter. Took advantage of the downtime after all the help, got all the work done, and took the tractors into the dealership to get maintenance done. That hurts the pocketbook a little bit. Spent a good amount of cash on maintenance for the equipment and the tractors, but you got to do it. As expensive as maintenance is, it's more expensive to encounter failures. All right, and what else did I do? Oh yeah, all right, look at this little island over here to the left. Notice anything different? No more trees. I spent a lot of time this winter doing landscaping, so to speak. All the trees that I had that were up next to my fields in areas that made it hard to work or hard to maneuver with equipment or harvesters, and all the trees that I had kind of in the middle of the fields, they gone. I got them out of there, and I did that with a wood chipper that I bought. Pull up to the tree, grind it down, grind the stumps down, and I was able to sell some wood chips to kind of pay for the purchase. Pretty excited about this because, again, going back to me last year and all of my excitement to get going, I rushed a few things, right? There's no secret there. Probably should have taken care of that before getting started, but at the same time, if I would have done that, I wouldn't have gotten off to the start that I got off to. Can't talk here today. And may not have been able to harvest, and well, I may not have been able to plant and eventually harvest as much as I did. So, you know, hindsight's 2020. When I look back, there's things I could have done differently. Either way, I wanted to make sure before I got into it this year that I got all of those trees out of the way, and next year I'll be plowing all these islands in. So the fields will be uninterrupted, and these areas that I got all the trees out of will be plowed in. I didn't get around to getting the trees out this year until after Pedro and the gang had already plowed. So that's the plan for next year. And another thing that I spent a lot of time on this winter. Also took out some other trees. Maybe noticing up here to the left some large equipment and a flat pad where many more trees used to exist. Huh. Wonder what I'm doing there. Well, let me tell you. I hired a development company. They came and I removed all the other trees. They removed these trees. So, out of seat again. Here we go. So they removed those trees. I gave them those trees so they could sell them and make their own profits off of them. And they gave me a better deal on the job as a result. And they came and graded this area for me. The purpose of grading that area is that I have plans in the very near future to call this place a home. While I'm filling up seed, let me show you my future home site. That's right, guys. The trailer's been good to us, but it's time to get something a little more cozy. And I'm going to be building a house, breaking ground here very soon. In fact, I hired an outfit by the name of FZ Earthworks and FZ Forestry out of Wyoming. A gentleman named Rocky runs the Earthworks division, and a gentleman named Jack runs the forestry division. Really good guys. They did really good work. And I have this weird suspicion you might be seeing more of them at some point in the near future. Anyways, I digress. Rocky just called me not too long ago.
Hey brother, job's all done. We're going to be picking up that equipment in the next couple days. Keep an eye out for us, man. See you then.
So as soon as that stuff's gone, I've got a general contractor starting on the house build, and I'm super pumped for that. Now, where did I get all this money to build a house? I mean, yeah, I made money on harvest last year, but I wasn't swimming in money by any means, especially when you consider all the money that I came into this with. I pretty much spent my life savings on this dream. Well, I'm happy to report that I have a little over $1 million back in my bank account. I'm a millionaire again. Unbelievable. How on earth did I do that? Well, I sold off some of the property, guys. When I bought the property, it was just an all or nothing deal. The old man who had owned this property for years, and any of you who've followed along on this channel, you know, he just pretty much sat on it for years. He never really did much with it. I think at one point he came out and tried to do something. He had some of our sheds and buildings erected, but that's, as you can tell by how old they are, that was years ago. And he never really did anything with it. Never really went anywhere with whatever his plans were. And it just sat in the family for years. And as he was getting up there in age, getting things in order for, I don't know, I'm sure his family, for such time when he's not here any longer, he decided to sell. He didn't want to mess with dividing the property into different parcels and selling it off in pieces. He just wanted to be done with it, and it was all or none. So I bought it all. I bought the whole map. As I got here, I identified areas that just weren't going to be farmable, if that's even a word. But if it's not, you know what I mean. So, since I've been here, I haven't told you guys this, but I've been working on it behind the scenes. I've gotten the land kind of divided up with the county. So, I got it split into, I got the northernmost piece split into a separate parcel. Not only that, I've gotten it rezoned. So the beauty of being out here in the middle of nowhere is that when you try to rezone property and you go to public hearing, there's not a whole lot of public to show up and contest the rezoning. So before I sold it, I got it rezoned for commercial use so that I know I don't have any competing farmers come in here too close to me. And I know I don't have any neighbors, like residential, come in here too close to me. And I was pretty strategic about who I sold the land to. I'm going to leave that as a surprise for later. But suffice it to say, I kept my own selfish interests in mind when identifying a buyer for the piece of the land that I parted ways with. Let's just say this. The eventual plans that that buyer has in terms of what they're going to build and put on that land, I will be able to reap the benefits of as well. I'll leave it at that. Anyways, that is a big reason why I was able to start my own development and start clearing and leveling some land for my future home. So, huge, exciting things going on for me. It's kept me very busy all winter long. I'm excited for it to be spring. Happy to get back into the farming. Pumped about the game plan this year. Knowing that my focus is going to be a little more narrow and really just centered around the cotton and the sorghum. And excited, but also a little stressed about the pending construction that's getting ready to begin on my house. So I am hiring a general contractor. Like I said before, I'm one man, I can't do it all. Nonetheless, it's going to be stressful watching them build every day and knowing that I can't be hands-on with it, or I'm not going to be hands-on with it. So I'm going to try to stay out of their way best I can, but it's just in my nature to be hands-on, so I've really got to check myself when it comes to asking for help or deciding to hire out help. Swallowed my pride a little bit when I called Mr. Johnson to see if he was willing and able to source some help for me. But once I get past that, and now that I've actually had the help, and we're on the back end of the winter, and here I sit with everything done for me, ready to go, I'm happy that I did it. I feel like I'm in a position where I can hit the ground running and have an incredibly productive year in a way that I haven't or won't burn myself out. So here's what we're working with for the future casa. Got a driveway up over on the left of the natural stone ledge that I wanted to leave there. I feel like that's going to be a statement piece on the front of the house there. And then also another driveway coming up over here, this side on the right. So it's just kind of going to loop around in front, and the house will be set back just on the back side of where this left and right driveway meet. And I feel like it's going to be just kind of a beautiful view. As corny as that sounded, I feel like I sound like that painter. We're going to put a happy little tree here. Anyhow, I think it's a pretty solid view, right? We're looking out over the pond. Got all our equipment and sheds and animals still in eyesight, and we can look out over many of our fields. So I'm pumped. The floor plan for the house, I'll keep that a secret until it's built and I'll give a tour. But I'll say this, I did it right. It's like a garage with a house attached rather than a house with a garage attached. And any man pretty much knows that's the way to go. The garage is the heart of the home. As for the rest of it, I just need a place to cook, crap, and conk out. That's it. And while I have the drone activated, I might as well show you some changes I made over here. So it used to be that the fence for the sheep stopped in front of the shed over there. I've gone ahead and just removed that part of it, and then I've extended the fence return over to the end. Also, my original temporary chicken pen was over here on this side of the shed. So I didn't really have a way or a means of accessing the farmyard there back behind the barn. So now that this area is cleared, I added a gate there. So this traps the sheep in to a larger area, cleans it up, I think, when I'm inside of the farmyard, so to speak. And I'm happy with how that's turned out. Oh, and what do I spy here? Some new stuff. So as soon as I get done planting this fall, I'm going to do some more grass and silage this year. Made good money off that last year. We just kind of did it in our downtime as a way to get some money coming in. And I feel like it was successful enough. Why not repeat this year? So I found this windrower on sale in the classifieds and scooped it up. Also, bought myself another trailer. This is the trailer that I use to load my cotton bales, and the one that I used last year was just leased, so I went ahead and bought that as well. Need to have my own. Not only will it load cotton bales, it's a perfect little flatbed to load pallets on. So that's how I'm transporting my wool and my eggs and everything. And then maybe one of my coolest purchases, I got this conveyor belt system. With all of the rocks in this area, every year when we cultivate, there are a ton of stones that we have to pick off the fields. And it's just a nightmare dumping it into that rock crusher. So, behold the ingenuity of Farmer Z. This made the process a lot smoother this year. We produced lime at a quicker rate, less effort, more output, and I produced enough lime to lime all of my fields this year. This rock crusher has paid for itself 2 or 3 times over now in just 2 short years. I want to say it's something like $40,000 in lime I would have spent this year had I not produced my own. So pretty pumped about that. Well, all right, guys. I'm going to get back to the planting. I got a busy March in front of me. Make sure I get all these cotton fields planted while it's still season. I'm dealing with the rain. Wish me luck. So far, so good. It hasn't gotten too wet and muddy yet to where I can't plant. Fingers crossed that it stops soon, though, because if it gets any wetter, I'm going to be in trouble. And that's going to have a real negative impact on our year as a whole. To give a quick idea how much planting I really have to get done here, all of the fields that are in the kind of medium brown color, yeah, those are going to be cotton this year. So I got a lot left to do. It's very likely that I lease out another planter, call Mr. Johnson, see if he minds sending an old girl over to give me a hand, if you know what I mean. Huh? Get your mind out of the gutter. I mean, just help on the farm. That's what I mean by a hand. Anyways, I gotta get all these fields planted. I think I'm probably gonna need to have some help to get it done in time. So stay tuned for another video documenting the process of spring planting season, and then the fields that are in the brownish reddish shade, those are going to be sorghum again. They were the sorghum fields from last year, so we're just going to direct drill those this year. Save me a little bit of plowing this fall, and we're going to roll one more season with sorghum, but the focus for now has to be cotton because I am on the clock. So why don't you quit bothering me, let me get back to work, and look forward for another video here soon. Thanks so much for checking in, my friends. Farmer Z out.